morning. I know when this comes out, it's about 12 midnight, and that's when most people are just either getting up or going to sleep. So, this is Joyce, the voice of Joyce, and I'm going to speak about my favorite topics. Comedy today, tragedy tomorrow. I heard a poll that I thought was very distressing. It's about how people react to the number of deaths in our country, to COVID-19. A CBS poll queried Republicans, Democrats, and independents. And with 177,000 to 180,000 deaths, 57% of Republicans said the number of people dying was acceptable. 10% of Democrats also said it was an acceptable number. Those must be the radical Democrats that everyone's talking about. When you can say that it is acceptable for more than the deaths of Vietnam to be a number that doesn't affect you is dreadful in my eyes. And 33% of independents said it was an acceptable level of death to them too. I bet if it was their dog or their cat, they'd weep for days or weeks. I know. I've seen cat lovers and dog lovers, and I've seen how despondent they become when they lose that unconditional love of their pet. They're really, really upset. They're so upset that I really can't talk to them for too long because I really don't feel that way about an animal. I do feel that way about people. People matter to me. I guess they're not so important to others, unless it's themselves. So take heart. You may be weeping about yourself soon as you send your children bravely off to school with COVID raging in the community. Kids don't get it that badly, but they spread it equally as well as adults. And they don't feel sick. But what happens when you do? Well, that's something you'll have to face. After all, it's not like taking away your gun or your favored pet. It's just another human life. Life goes on. We adjust. For those of us who can't readjust, there's that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, it's an interesting way to live when we know that it doesn't really make us stronger at all. It makes us more liable to feel pain. Pain that we don't have to feel. So, no matter. COVID appears to be an equal opportunity oppressor. Until we have lick a stick, we're not going to be able to control that virus. Forget about the second wave. The first wave hasn't left yet. And it doesn't look like it's going to leave anytime soon. Then I've asked people personally, without having the benefit of a really good basis for comparison, other than, immediate family, friends, people in my life, what do they think? Some think they don't understand the 50 million who are out of work. After all, they've got work. They work from home. They came here from foreign countries. They didn't come here from Latin American countries. They came here from Middle European despotic countries. Life is good for them here. They've never made so much money before. Too bad that's not happening for the rest of Americans. Coca-Cola now says nobody's buying their products either. So they haven't prepared for the day when people will say, well, if I have a choice, I'm eating healthy. And if I'm eating healthy, I'm not eating sugar. A lot of corn has gone down the drain with Drencho in Iowa. I don't know what the impact will be on our products, but I suppose that a lot of us will be forced to eat healthy in the next few days and weeks to come. Is that a tragedy? I don't think so. It looks like the same tragedy that occurred with my hair. I've been dyeing my hair one way or another since my late 50s and 60s. I never knew what it would look like white. And here we are, 6 months into the virus, and this is me now. Do I think I'll go back to my original color? I was auburn as a child. I don't think so. I think I'm perfectly comfortable living in my own skin and my own way right now. I wish I could say the same for everyone else. Take a breath. There's so much going on. And think, is this what you really believe? Is this what you really want? All the world's a stage. We're just the players. And if we're going to be players, hey, if it's up to me, I'd like to have the lead. And I think a lot would also. Somebody else said to me in my group, oh, I'm worried. I'm so worried about the difference in the presidential candidates. And my concern is, well, I'd rather have too much than too little. So whoever is going to give me and everyone else in the country, because I'm not selfish, more, I'd like to see the day. Hasn't happened yet when I could say, God, I have so much. I've given away plenty in my lifetime, but it wasn't because I had an unending well of money or of goods or anything. But I've done it for the pleasure. And it would be nice to see more people give instead of judging and looking at our lives for what they really are. When 2020 came around, I said, I can see clearly now. Sometimes I understand it's not the best of all worlds. But what is? All I know is that we have the American will to be innovative. And if we adopt lick a stick from Dr. Michael Mina at Harvard School of Public Health, the same lick a stick that the NBA is using, none of us will have to worry about COVID. And perhaps we could go on with our lives, and they'll be better. Cities evolve. Rural communities evolve too. And we can have it so that they all evolve for the better. Just like we're adding infrastructure to ourselves, we should be adding the infrastructure to our communities. So remember, everyone, comedy today, tragedy, I certainly hope not, tomorrow. But if it's up to me, hey, I'd embrace the comedy, and I'd embrace people, and I'd embrace feelings, no matter what, whether they're high or low, whether it's the ecstasy of pleasure or the despair of misery. I'd rather know that I can feel it all, and then choose consciously how I want to respond to the everyday mundane. So be well, everyone. See you next week. It's a little different for me today. Not sure what happened. But hey, it's a new day, and I'll see you next week, and it'll be a new week. God bless you all. This is chapter 44, Comedy Today.